What is up, my brothers from another mother? In this video, I'm going to go over ECU tuning. A few of you guys in the comments have asked for my opinion on what I think of ECU tuning, and I'm going to dump it on you. You've asked for the cold hard truth, so here it is, okay? The thing with ECU tuning is a complete waste of money if you're dealing with a naturally aspirated motor. And here's why. You can't squeeze that much more power out of an NA motor because of the way that it is structured. It is high stress, it is designed to rev high, to squeeze out peak horsepower, torque, and all the goodies that you're looking for. What you will get if you tune an NA motor, a naturally aspirated motor, you might get a higher red line, which is dangerous. You might get the top speed delimited, which is fine if you live, on the Autobahn. The car should be able to handle it if you've got the right speed rated tires. And the way that they get the extra 10, 15, maybe 20 horsepower out of a car. So my last car, the S65 powered V8 4-liter BMW M3, if you were to tune it, you'd get maybe 15 horse out of it, okay, tops. On a conservative tune, maybe with a dyno, if you went higher end or a little more risky, you might get 20, 25 horse. And the way they get the extra power is by messing around with the timing. So where the spark ignites, it's supposed to be around top dead center, slightly before, slightly after, depending on how the manufacturer has built the motor and how they want it to perform and deliver your fuel economy. So they mess around with the timing and the fuel mixtures, really, is all they can do to try to bring out a little bit more power. There's probably a few other tweaks that they throw in there while they're messing around with the tuning on the engine. But that's really all that you can get. And for $1,000, you're risking blowing your motor. As soon as you start messing around as far as when the spark plug ignites the air fuel mixture in the motor, whether it's slightly before or slightly after, guys, there's a reason why the manufacturer has set the ECU to where it is. They expect the motor to last the life of the car, a few 100,000 miles at least, without any problems. When you start messing around with the ECU tuning, while the tuners will say it's completely safe and there's nothing to worry about, ask them for a 200,000 mile warranty and see what they say. They're going to say, no way, buddy. So I would stay away from ECU tuning a naturally aspirated motor. Now, a turbocharged or supercharged motor, especially a turbo motor on the other hand, that's a different story. I had a 2002 Subaru WRX back in the day. I was one of those fanboys, loved the car, still love it to bits. And I had the engine tuned. It was an ECU tune. I did change the downpipe and the exhaust on it and open up the intake so it could breathe better. But pre and post dyno tuning, the engine gained an additional about 30% horsepower. And for the $1,000 that the tune cost, it was completely worth it. The engine's already built to run with a turbo, so it's already designed to accept boost pressure. Okay, that's why I'm saying, if you're going to spend money on an ECU tune, do it on a turboed motor, not a naturally aspirated motor. They don't mess around too much with the detonation of when the ignition goes off, whether it's top dead center before or after. They don't mess around a whole lot with the fuel mixture. What they do is they increase the boost on the turbo. So as you rev up, the turbo develops a little more boost, which develops a little more power. It's usually fairly safe and reliable. I didn't have any problems with my Scooby. I ran it for probably about, I don't know, 100,000 kilometers on that tune, and it drove really well. Now, one of the problems that you will run into ECU tuning a turboed motor is you might have to go back for some slight adjustments. I noticed after a while, when I was in 5th gear and I was on the highway and I put my foot down, you would get boost and you would lose boost, and it would kind of like give you a little bit of a push and pull feel in the driver's seat. I mean, it wasn't significant. You weren't going like this or anything, but it was enough that I had to bring it back, and he threw it back on the all-wheel drive dyno and plugged in his laptop and messed around with it, and he tuned it out of the car. Then we go for a drive, and he kind of tweaked it a little bit more. So anytime you mess around with the factory settings of any car, one, you risk the exposure to damaging or blowing the motor, and two, you could run into fuel economy issues, reliability issues, beyond that to other components that are connected to it. If you're going to throw the money at it, I think the risk, from my experience personally, again, I'm only speaking from experience, the risk is far better and safer if you're doing it with a turboed motor. I never tuned the ECU on my M3. I did look into it, and I was offered a special for something like $7.99 at a tuner that I had asked a lot of people on forums specifically, what's your experience with a tuner like? How did the car perform? And almost everybody when I communicated with them, said, yeah, it was great initially, but I didn't really notice much of a difference. So when you're throwing an extra 10 or 15 horsepower into a 420 horsepower motor, you're really not going to notice it, guys. So it's probably better to stay on the safe side and rather risk blowing your motor or damaging it or running into other, you know, issues that might be tied into the tune. Staying away from it on a naturally aspirated motor. A turbo motor is a different thing. Love to hear what you guys think in the comments section below. Let me know. Give the video a thumbs up. Of course, browse the channel and subscribe. It's the first one you've seen. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.